I'd like to welcome McFly from 88 miles per hour to the sandwich. We're going to have a quick little AMA with him, ask him some questions and find out what's new at 88 miles per hour. So let's get started. McFly, can you just tell us a quick overview of what is 88 miles per hour? Like, what kind of products do you guys supply? Try to keep your answers nice and short and sweet.
Yeah, I was saying that we are a non-custodial Ethereum protocol offering fixed yield right to our users, and also some speculative tool like yield token, allowing you to speculate on the future yield that you can get on Aave or Compound.
Okay, so we've got two major products or two major customers or users that you kind of target, right? We have the people who want fixed yield bonds. Can you give us a little more understanding of what's a fixed yield bond?
Yep. So basically, it's a deposit where you will get a fixed yield right on top of it. So you have your principal, you deposit it for, let's say, 1 year, and after 1 year of when you reach the maturity date, you will get back your principal plus the interest generated at a fixed yield right.
Okay, so why, where are you getting this yield? Like, where's this yield coming from?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So you can see 88MPH as an intermediary. Under the hood, we are using Compound, Aave, and soon other protocol with our V3, where we deposit the user funds. We generate a variable yield with this deposit. And as we act as an intermediary with our system, we are able to offer a fixed yield. So to offer the fixed yield, what we do is we extract a 30-day exponential moving average of a variable rate we have on Compound. Let's say for the last 30 days, the average variable rate was 10% for DAI on Compound. So from our side, with our interest oracle, we will be able to offer to our users who are depositing, let's say for 1 month, we will offer 75% of this 10%. So that means 7.5% fixed yield rate. We are really more generous for short-term deposit than long-term deposits. With long-term deposit, we are a bit more conservative, and we just offer 37.5% of the 30-day exponential moving average that we can extract from Compound.
Okay, so just to simplify this down, you take the user's funds and you put it into, let's say, for example, Compound. Compound has a variable rate, as we all know, based on utilization. As people borrow, the interest rate goes up, and as people don't borrow, then the interest rate goes down, right? Based on supply and demand. So you guys are taking the average of that based on, did you say 10 days? So I think you said 10 days, right? So the 10-day average of that, and then that's what you're kind of giving to the people who decide to open up a long-term bond.
It's a 30-day exponential moving average. So the average is computed over the last 30 days.
Okay, so how long do the bonds usually get held for? Like, what kind of time frame does a bond hold for?
Oh, it's really up to the depositor. So you can select a custom maturity between 1 day and 1 year. So if you want, like, for 40 days, you can do that. If you want for 88 days, you can do it. It's really up to our users. Next week, we will reintroduce on our V3 preset maturity. Basically, under the hood is zero coupon bonds, where for example, we have a time series for March 2022. So if you select this preset maturity, you will need to wait until March 2022 to redeem the full face value of the bonds. So basically, under the hood, it's a zero coupon bonds that we sell at a discount, and the difference between the price you bought it and the value you will redeem at maturity is basically your fixed yield. But this thing is, the difference between what we did on V2 and what we are doing on V3, we really wanted to simplify the user experience in terms of financial lingo, financial jargon we were using before, because we were talking about fixed rate bonds, floating rate bonds, zero coupon bonds, all of that. Maybe between you and me, we understand what it is, but for the majority of our users, it's just really exotic stuff. So really, we really wanted to have like a fintech UX, because at the end of the day, nobody cares what it is under the hood. They just want to deposit their money and get a fixed yield at the end. So we really wanted to, I can say that, like, hide all these mechanics under the hood.
Okay, let's go back to just talking about those bonds. You said you can set the date however long you want. So if you were to say like 1 day or 1 year, but you're using a 30-day average. So how do you mitigate that risk? What if that that a 30-day average is completely inaccurate in, maybe it's completely low, or it goes really, if it goes really, really high, that's good for you, I guess. But if, let's say, it goes really low, like the last 30-day average was, say, 8%, something great like that. And then after 30 days, it's 1% or 0.5%. How do you guys mitigate that for those people who signed up for these long-term bonds?
Yep. So yeah, that's really like the hardest thing to do when you are offering this kind of product, is really where is the challenge. So the way we designed all of that is, first, there is this 30-day EMA where we offer a certain percentage of it. We don't offer 100% of the 30-day EMA, of course. So we are generous for short-term deposit, let's say between 7 days and 30 days deposit maturity, you have like 75% of this 30-day EMA. For long-term deposits, we are really more conservative, and we create this margin of safety between what we are capable of offering and what is the current 30-day EMA. So we just offer for 1 year deposit, it will be 37.5% of this 30-day EMA. So if the 30-day EMA is 10%, we will just offer 3.75%. So that's the first line of defense, but it's not enough, of course. So what we introduced is also the yield token. That means when someone deposits, we will also at the same time list in the UI, in the front end, something that we call yield token. And this yield token basically is for speculating on something that will happen in the future. In our case, it will be what will be the variable rate on compound in, let's say, 1 month or 1 year, according to the deposit is tied to. So if I will take an example to illustrate how it works. Let's say you, CEAZOR, you deposit 100 DAI for a maturity of 1 year. So at the same time, in our system, we will also list and put as an opportunity of yield token for a maturity of 1 year. And the price of the yield token will be basically representing how much we promised to you in terms of fixed yield, fixed rate interest. So let's say if we were able to offer you a 4% fixed yield rate, we will owe you 4 DAI after 1 year. So this 4 DAI, it's also something that will be used for the yield token, and it will represent the price that you can get this yield token. So you pay 4 DAI, and the yield token will allow you to earn the variable rate on your deposit. So if you deposited 100 DAI, we will allow the holder of this yield token to earn the interest on your 100 DAI plus the price of the yield token. So you will earn variable rate on 104 DAI for 1 year. So of course it takes a lot of risk, but we need to remember that as we are not offering 100% of the 30-day EMA, there is a profit margin already included into this yield token. So let's say, for example, you deposited for 1 year. So that means you just got 75.5% of the 30-day EMA. So the difference between the 37.5% and the full amount of the 30-day EMA represents the profit margin for the yield token holder. Based on this example, if the variable rate for 1 year on average on compound won't decrease by more than, let's say, 60%, you will be still generating a profit. You will have a return on investment by buying this yield token. And you can see that like right now on our page on 88mph.app, you have some yield token opportunity. You will see the price, and you will see on how much amount of money you will be able to earn a variable rate. So it's a highly leveraged product where you are speculating on the future yield of the underlying protocol we are using. Let's say if you are in the compound pool, you will speculate on that. The other use case for this kind of product is if you're currently borrowing DAI on compound, you can hedge your cost of borrowing. So that means you buy the yield token. If the borrowing rate, the variable rate for borrowing will increase, you will kind of also decrease your cost by buying this yield token, because you will make a profit by this increase on compound variable rate. So that's the second big mechanism we have these days to de-risk 88mph in terms of insolvency, because basically it's the main risk we have when we are offering fixed yield rate to our users is what happens if we are not able to generate enough yield, variable yield on compound or other stuff. So that's the second mechanism in place to do that. Yeah, I think that's working really well for us since inception. With V2, the demand for this kind of product, the yield token, before we were naming it floating rate bonds, it was really high because, of course, you can lose everything when you are buying this kind of product because it's speculative. But you have also a huge potential of earning something behind. So, yeah, that's everything fine. It's equilibrium.
Okay. There's a lot of there to unpack. So I'm going to kind of go through it again and ask you a couple specific questions about each piece, okay? So first of all, to mitigate some of the risk of the long-term bonds is the longer someone does the bond for, the less of the 10-day average that they're going to get. So you just basically reduce the 10-day or 30 days. Sorry, I keep saying 10. So the 30-day average just gets reduced based on how long they want to go beyond how long. Like what's the longest I can set it? I can buy a bond and I will get the full 30-day.
Yeah, maximum is it's 1 year for the maturity date. And anything between 1 day and 1 year.
Oh, so as soon as I do 2 days, then it reduces the 30-day average by. Okay. So if I choose a date, like let's say I say every week, or let's say I feel like I can do this once a week or once a month, is there any cost of rebalancing, like pulling out and making new ones? Like will this incur me any costs that I would need to consider?
No, and it's really something we were thinking of in terms of how we can offer a compounding effect to our users, and it's probably something that will happen on multi-chain. Like the only cost you have is the gas cost for doing that. Currently on Ethereum mainnet, probably end of next week we will start being on Polygon. So this kind of strategy where you deposit for 7 days, let's say, and you optimize the amount of fixed yield rate you can have. We have a function in the system where you can roll over your deposit, your initial deposit, plus the interest you earn with that initial deposit. So you roll over basically your principal plus the interest earned, compounding, like basically offering you a compounding on all of that. But it's a manual process at least.
Oh, so the user will have to come and actually initiate the rollover, like pay that gas fee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So that takes care of the first aspect of the risk of going for long term, and the other aspect is the opposite of this. Like they have the yield token, and if you have the yield token, it's basically like you are betting that you're going that reduction of yield given to the bonds is going to be quite a bit. Like you would think that the interest on compound finance is going to be stable or go up. So then you would want to buy these yield. And in order to buy the yield, you're paying basically the entire debt owned to the bond person at the day of maturity. Okay.
Yep.
The other thing,
there is this thing about I think it's fairly important to mention that when you are buying a yield token, you also, like, at least since if the yield token is fairly recent, you will get this profit margin. Let's say if you are buying a yield token that is tied to a deposit of 7 day, you will have 25% of a profit margin already included into this yield token. So that means if on average the variable rate on compound don't decrease by more than 25%, you will be still generating a profit with this yield token.
okay, I see. So the debt doesn't change, right? Like the debt is like it's a static number. Like it's calculated on the day of opening. So people who are really savvy can come in, check the different debts or the different bonds that are outstanding and buy yield tokens for those, right? And because they can clearly see that some of them are probably even in the money, like they're just profitable to just buy it and pay the debt. Like you can, especially if it's getting closer to expiration date, right? Is this a correct statement?
Yep. So, regarding the yield token price, the way we compute the price, we reevaluate the price of the yield token according to the day you buy it. So, of course, if you are reaching the maturity date of the underlying deposit, the price will also decrease for this one. But of course, you won't have a lot of time to generate variable rate on the underlying deposit. So yeah, it's really questions of basically, are you feeling bullish or bearish on the underlying average variable rate that you can get from compound or Aave? So it's really dependent on the state of the market. Does the market is highly leveraged right now and there is a lot of borrowing demand, or the market is a bit depressed, but you think that there will be another cycle in 1 or 2 months, so the borrowing demand will increase again. So it's really a bet on the future of the money market. And currently, like, just if you want an example, you can go. Can I share a link here on your group?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So if you go on that link, so that's the yield token opportunity currently available. And of course, you are not forced to buy 100% of the yield token opportunity. You can buy just a certain amount of this yield token opportunity. Right now, you can see, for example, on the DAI pool using under the hood Aave protocol, you have one opportunity that costs you $87. And this $87 will allow you to earn the variable rate on $20,000 DAI, basically. And the estimated profit right now with the current supply APY you can get on Aave is roughly 50% return on investment. Plus, you get some MPH rewards for helping the protocol stay de-risking everything. So, of course, it's speculative. Just remember, I'm trying to remind everyone that it's a speculative tool, so you can earn a lot, but you can also lose everything. So you should think twice before buying this kind of thing.
So this $20,500 bond here, this is a single individual or a single wallet has opened this, correct?
It's a single deposit. Every yield token opportunity is tied to one deposit.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a bar across the top that says your average. What is this bar for here? Like the slider bar, I can move it and it changes the percentage, like 2, 3, 5% at the top.
Yeah, it could. It's something, it's a help assisting you to really figure out what could be your return on investment according to the average variable rate APY you think can be on DAI for like DAI pool on Aave. Let's say right now it's like the current supply APY on Aave, it's 2.8% for DAI. But you think that maybe in 1 month or on average until this deposit reach maturity. So it will reach its maturity on the 12th of December. But you think that the average variable rate will increase by, let's say, 1%. So it will be 3.8% on average. So that means you will get a return on investment on this yield token of 100% approximately, plus 44% MPH rewards.
Okay, yeah, so it's a tool to help with the speculation judgment, right?
Yeah, just predicting stuff, but it's your own prediction. We are not like helping you making the prediction. It's just we are giving you the current what's currently happening on Aave for DAI, and that's it. After it's up to you to, with your knowledge, to think about what you can get from that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's super user friendly. Like it's a built-in calculator that just lets us slide a bar. It's really good. I like this. Now you're saying that you get if I put it up to 100, like 3.8, then I get like 109 ROI and 46% APR. And this is the MPH token. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the MPH token. Like what is some of the use cases for it? It says here, revenue and voting. Oh, I guess maybe we should talk about revenue. Like, where are you guys getting revenue? Where's the fees for the use of this protocol, so that we can understand where the revenue is coming from?
Yep. So there is three mainstream of revenue. There is the first one is the fee that we apply on the interest paid out to our users. So when you will redeem your principal plus the interest earned, we will apply a fee of 20% on the fixed yield you get from us. So that's the first stream of revenue. The second one is...
Hold on. Let me just make sure I can understand it. So if I put $100 and it's going to give me 10% in a year, right?
Yep.
You're going to take 20% of that 10% of the $10 that I'm owed. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, but when you deposit, what you will see on the UI, it will already include this 20% fee. So what you see is what you get at the end. But we just mention it because it's like a transparent process. But the fee will be extracted at the end of the deposit maturity.
I see. So all of my funds, when I deposit, every dollar goes into Compound or Aave or whatever one I decide to use. All of the funds go in there. All of it starts earning yield. But when the date of maturity comes, that's when the protocol collects its piece of the pie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the second, you said the second fee.
Yeah, it's allow you to withdraw early. So you can, of course, if you need your deposit, you can withdraw early. And where it's the second part of the revenue model we have, we will apply a 0.5% early withdrawal fee on your principal that time. So if you deposited 100 DAI, we will take from you 0.5 cents if you withdraw early. So withdrawing early means before the maturity date is reached.
Does the fact that the yield tokens have been purchased already, does this have any play into the withdrawing early? Like if, let's say I put out a bond for $1,000 and someone comes along and scoops up all the yield tokens that are needed to pay that debt, and then I decide to withdraw early, does this have any play in my fees or not?
For you as a depositor, no. For the yield token holder, it will be refunded. And it will just extract whatever interest was generated so far by your deposit.
Okay, so if I'm speculating, if I'm a yield token holder and I'm speculating on your deposit, and you come along and you withdraw early, then I get back. I basically, because I've paid off your debt and you're taking that debt back, then don't I just carry on your position on Compound? Because we've doubled up the money, right? Like you put $1,000 in and you're owed $1,010. And I come along and I put $1,010 on, then I get to carry your $1,000 that's been deployed to Compound, or does that get withdrawn and given to me? Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Maybe just correct me if I'm wrong, if I didn't understand your question. But yeah, the yield token in that respect, when someone will withdraw early, what happened is there is a refund for the yield token holder. So he get back his money, plus he get back whatever was generated so far from the underlying deposit he funded. So like in the majority of the case, you would get wall on the early withdrawal use case, in the early withdrawal situation. So it's like pretty straightforward in that sense, but everyone, like there's just like the penalty just apply, of course, on the depositor with 0.5% fee, and the 0.5% fee go directly to the protocol revenue. So that's the second stream of income. Is not really a lot of revenue from that. It's just to kind of, okay, we have a service, and it's just like trying to sustain the protocol and encouraging everyone to think long term in terms of deposit, and not just come and go as they want. Even if we don't want to make everyone feeling like they are trapped into something. So for this reason, we think that 0.5% fee for early withdrawal is really reasonable. I don't know what your opinion regarding that, but I think it's fairly common in a lot of protocols using this kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much. I do have another question about withdrawing early. Let's say I'm the depositor, and you are the person who holds my yield tokens, right? The yield tokens that represent my deposit. If I come along and withdraw early, then I have to pay the gas to withdraw early. And then there's gas to pull the funds from Compound. And then there's gas to put the funds into your wallet because you're a yield bearing token. There's a gas, like, do I, as a withdraw early person, do I pay the entire gas, or will you as a yield bearer token have to show up later and claim your amount?
Yeah, that's a good question. You will, like, so there is this action, early withdrawal action. So we pull the funds from Aave. That's paid by the depositor. But the yield token holder will still need to claim what he needs to claim. So that's like the yield token holder will need to pay the gas for that. So for this reason, also we introduced it, like at the beginning, we weren't sure we wanted to incentivize the yield token holders with MPH rewards, but also in that case, like it's fair to compensate them with some yield token, some MPH rewards, because like there is this cost associated with buying this kind of yield token. So yeah, you need to you need to be able to claim this. So there is a cost associated with that. So for this reason, we compensate with some MPH rewards.
Awesome. Okay, let's go on to the third source of revenue that you mentioned. What's the third one?
So yeah, the third one is probably the most important currently at this stage on the project, is when we basically redirect the funds of our users to Compound and Aave. So we are able to extract some comp token, some staked Aave comp token, like basically the incentives that we have on this protocol. So we pull all of these rewards extracted, farmed from Aave and Compound, for example, and we will distribute them on a bi-weekly basis to MPH stakers. So that's the third source of revenue, and it's currently the biggest after the fee on the 20% fee on the interest paid out. And for example, last week we distributed $25,000 worth of MPH. So it's a buyback mechanism. It's a bit different than what we were doing with our revenue on V2. On V2, we were doing cash dividend. Basically, we were paying the MPH takers in DAI. So the rewards were paid in DAI. In V3, we do things differently. We take the revenue of the protocol, we do a buyback of MPH on the open market, and we distribute more MPH to the MPH stakers. So yeah, it's basically a stock dividend right now without dilution.
Okay, so this is very, very important. Actually, there's many assets to this that are important. Like, first of all, if you're staking MPH, then you're going to get a nice, juicy like dividend paid back in MPH. So you guys are buying back the MPH token, raising the price, and giving it to the MPH token holders. But more importantly, you guys are taking that those governance token rewards, like Aave or Compound gives out Compound tokens or Aave tokens, right? You're taking those and giving them to the MPH token holder. So as a yield token speculator, you have to understand that those Aave tokens and those Compound tokens are not part of the yield that you're speculating on.
No.
Because it's not part of the bond, right? It's going to you're going to collect them all and give them to the MPH. So I think this is a very important point in that I just kind of came across. This is correct, right?
Yep. So yeah, the distribution is basically we copy pasted what Sushi is doing. You stake Sushi for X Sushi. So we have the same model where you stake MPH for X MPH. So the X MPH is auto compounding for you. Yeah, so it was like a more streamlined model in terms of staking, at least from Mainnet. And the strategy we have for the MPH takers and how we want to share the protocol revenue, when we will be on multi-chain layer 2, we will do the same thing as Sushi. So extracting the revenue from the multi-chain ecosystem we have and migrating all the revenue directly to Ethereum mainnet. So all the distribution of revenue will always happen directly on Ethereum mainnet.
Okay, I see. So if you're going to stake your MPH tokens, you stake them on mainnet, and all the fees get raked back to mainnet and given to them there.
Yep.
No, now the point I was trying to get at that I really want to make sure I got this right. Like if you look at the yield token opportunities bar and you move this blue ball up like left and right, what you're guessing at is only the APY from people borrowing DAI on whatever, let's say Aave, right? It has nothing to do with the Aave token APY, right?
No, yeah, it has nothing to do with the token, the staked token of Aave, for example. It's just the supply APY you get. So it's not the borrowing, it's the supply side. The yield you get when you supply asset directly on the DAI pool on Aave without any incentives.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's go back to this revenue and voting rights. What kind of things can people vote for on MPH?
So, like currently, what we did was mainly features-oriented proposal. So that was the main things we were offering in terms of governance. So what we have in mind, the vision at least, is we wanted to release the V3 having a strong basis, strong foundation for after decentralizing more of the protocols. So since 1 week, we have that on mainnet. It's released. We are happy with all of that. Everything goes as planned. So far, so good. And we will work with the community on starting decentralizing the protocol parameters. So that means that it will probably be around how much MPH rewards we get. So the insurance rate of the MPH rewards for depositor and yield token buyers. So that's the first thing that the community will be able to control. And also probably around the interest oracle parameters. So how much percentage of the 30-day EMA we are comfortable giving out to our users. So that's a thing really important because you can really mess up a lot of things if you get that thing wrong. And it's kind of also a surface of attack for us. So we don't want to decentralize that since on day one. So we want to be sure that we have kind of a strong community and a lot of different big players involved in the governance process before starting decentralize that parameter. But the thing right now we are trying to understand is how good the model is with different money market contexts. So right now we are working with a company in Switzerland. The name is CAD Labs. They are helping us building a digital twin for 88MPH, and basically it's a tool that is helping us right now stress test our system and see how much decrease we can sustain, let's say, for the first 100 days on average, the rate for DAI is 10%, but in 24 hours, it decreased to 1% and it stayed there for the remaining 200 days of that year. What happened with 88MPH? So we are figuring out how the system behave in this kind of extreme money market situation context, to see how we can tweak and improve the interest oracle, and how we can improve also the yield token parameters. So before handling this kind of parameter to the governance, we want to make sure that we have a strong framework around that, and we fully understand the risk. We fully understand how the system will behave in this specific condition. So we will share all of that with our community, of course. The mission with CAD Labs ends in 2 weeks. So we will have a Jupyter model where we will be able to play with. Probably we will also open source a front end with that tool to allow everyone to play with and see how all of that play out in different market conditions and according to the yield token demands. So there is a lot of moving parts in all of that to make sure that everything fits together and work well at the end. But yeah, it's our end goal. Like, we wanted to build 88MPH to be able to have like a tool that work in extreme conditions. So it's really where we want to make sure that everything is perfect. At least where we can iterate a lot on that. Of course, it won't be perfect anytime soon, but we keep iterating on that.
I do have a question for you, and that is, like, you're using Aave Compound and Harvest. So I'm wondering why you don't use on some of the other like popular like sources of yield. Like, I can see like trading fees, like something like Curve is much more difficult, but like say like a Yearn Volt or any of these kind of like yield aggregators or stuff like that. Why don't you have any of these kind of assets as well, or like sources of income and also speculation with the yield token? It's like,
yeah, we were thinking, like at the beginning, we were thinking integrating Curve, but as you probably know, the way, like, there is a lot of different strategy currently happening to extract the maximum value from Curve. So we can start something, but it will take time before we can get a yield that is as good as what Convex or what Harvest or what Yearn are extracting from Curve. So we prefer to use those intermediaries to get the best yield there. But of course, we have cooked new adapters, so we will release progressively money market for Cream, idle finance. We have more assets that will be released next week for Compound, Aave, and Harvest. Yearn, we decided to don't use it right now because we need to figure out a new system to make sure that we are not creating more issue than what we can create in value, because there is like the fee applied on withdrawal from Yearn. There is other stuff that are like, there is a lot of moving parts on Yearn, so we want to make sure that we have a stronger basis. So we won't offer that on V3, at least not for the following weeks. We will still continue doing research there for making sure that we can offer something strong. But yeah, Curve, probably we will stay with stuff like Harvest and Convex or others, because yeah, it doesn't make sense right now. Like, we can start something where at the end we build our own back scratcher, but is probably, it will take a lot of time. It's not too late, but yeah, it will take a lot of years before making sure that we can extract as much value as someone else, like Convex, for example.
Yeah, I understand. Just to talk a little bit about a few more things, and that is, first of all, the stake. I understand what it is. Stake MPH, get X MPH, and get a share of the revenue fees. Are there any token emissions going into there? Are like you supplying any MPH just from treasury or from minting to the yield that is inside the staked MPH, the X MPH tokens?
No, yeah, there is no minting, no governance treasury involved in all of that. It's just pure revenue. So whatever yield you will get from staking MPH is coming from the business activity of 88 MPH and the revenue we can extract. So there is no additional supply created somewhere to sustain this kind of staking yield.
APY.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the farms as well. You have SushiSwap here, right? Uniswap and Bancor. So you have 3 pools for the MPH token.
Yeah. So yeah, currently that's the main one. And there we incentivize with governance treasury for Sushi. So there is a dual farm right now where if you stake your SLP, you will get Sushi plus MPH.
I see. So the options for Bancor and SushiSwap or Uniswap, you can build you just have them in the UI just in case you guys decide in the future to incentivize these other liquidity pools to get a secondary LP going or third LP going, right?
Currently, like before, there was some incentivized program there. We will restart some Uniswap program. But we are discussing with different partners how we can be smarter in terms of protocol asset management and build our own liquidity on Uniswap V3 also. So there is also Bancor. Right now, we were getting BNT rewards on Bancor at the beginning of the summer. And after 3 months, it stopped, but it's still our biggest liquidity venue for the protocol. And of course, we are protected from the impermanent loss. So we are part of this program with Bancor, but we are also waiting the Bancor V3 that will happen probably early next year, where we will have like more opportunities to build smart incentives for liquidity, because I think, yeah, we like, as every protocol, we really need to think long term in terms of liquidity. And I like, in my personal opinion, like, it's really the smartest way of doing that is you as a protocol, you buy your own LP and you build your own liquidity. Like that, you don't need to constantly incentivize liquidity providers because it's not sustainable long term. And we saw, like, we made the experience at 88 MPH, and basically we learned from that, and we currently, yeah, we saw that it's not sustainable long term. So you need to think about being the holder of your own liquidity as a protocol.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see it more and more protocols going towards this direction, actually. And I agree with you. It's smart. Like, it's kind of it's like, paying for the windows in the glass door on your business. You don't ask the customers to bring their glass to your windows, right? It's part of the cost of running the business, in a sense, right? However, there is one more thing. I kind of lost my train of thought. Is there anything that you think that we really, really missed and that we really need to talk about before I open the panel to anybody who has any questions?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that it's clear for everyone that we just launched our V3 a week ago. So we have the V2 that's still operational. There is deposit there. There's TVL on V2. There is TVL right now increasing on V3. And yeah, so don't be confused if you see V1, V2, V3, just the different iteration we had so far. But like when you go on 88mph.app right now, what you see is the V3. Yeah, we will be on multi-chain really soon. So we really think that it's a non-zero-sum game also, going on whatever chains there is out there where we can make business. Yeah, do cross-pollinate all of these different community. And yeah, the last details before opening the questions is everything on 88mph is basically operated using NFT, ERC 721, and ERC 1155. The ERC 721 represents the deposits. They represent also the MPH that are vested continuously to you over the duration of your deposit. So when you deposit 100 DAI, you will get also vested linearly to you MPH rewards that you can claim, and the vesting is linear, so you can withdraw after 1 day, you can withdraw after 50 days, and after 1 year. You can claim progressively your vested MPH, and that thing is also represented by an NFT. And since inception, we are like using all this thing NFT based because we think it's the best way of doing DeFi. Since November 2020, we are doing that. And the cool thing we introduced with V3 is we are allowing everyone to customize the deposit NFT. So we are doing DeFi NFT where you can merge creative contents with your deposit. So that means if you mint a deposit of, you deposit 100 DAI, so you mint this NFT deposit, you can add a video, you can add an image to that, you can add whatever metadata you want. So we are exploring with free artist in residence this use case. It's an experiment. It's not our main product, of course, but so it's an experiment with a free artist in residence. There are Visual Dawn, Warakami, and Man with No Name. We are asking them to build collection of video loop, visual for 88mph. And basically, we will merge these creative contents with deposit, and we'll do some cool stuff with them related to auctions, charity, and other stuff. And that thing is permissionless, so everyone can do that. And yeah, this is just seeing like is the cool part of that, and we will see what happened with that. But yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's really nice that you can add your own flair to your position while you're holding, especially if you have it for a year, and every couple of days you can go check out your like NFT and see whatever it is that you put on there that you thought was cool. And then also if you give it to somebody, like say I'm going to give you like this amount of money for this year, then you can put a card in it or something like, oh, happy birthday, you get this amount of money for the next year or something, right? And it'll be on your next birthday, you will be able to like unlock this money or something. That's cool. I like that. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, there is this use case also related to in-game assets. Probably like we are really good friends with Comif, and they are on Polygon. So we will explore use cases with them also to build NFT spaceships or in-game assets, like for example a Comif or a planet or a spaceships where this asset generates a fixed yield, and it's represented by an NFT. So there's definitely a huge universe of possibility that you can explore with that.
Super cool, super cool. So if anybody has any questions, you can just raise your hand and I'll give you the mic. But if you'd rather, you can type inside the CEAZOR snack sandwichery and I will just read it out for McFly here if anybody has any specific questions. Okay, someone says, me good. I do have a question though. What is maybe the cost? What's the average cost like compared to like a Uniswap swap of actually opening a bond? Is it like 3 times the cost or 2 times or half? Like in regards to gas, like the gas fee, because we all know gas fluctuates, the price of gas fluctuates all the time. But if we compare it to something like a swap, then like about how much of us, like, you understand what I mean?
Yep.
Like how much more complex is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty complex process. So it's pretty expensive compared to a Uniswap trade. Probably we can say that it's a ratio of 3 or 4 for depositing. So it's really, if you want to just deposit $100, it's not going to be really a smart move for you. So for this reason, we really push out to be on a multi-chain, on Phantom, Polygon, Avalanche, and others. Like, we are really also interested by what's currently building ZK Sync. We think it's the best solution long term, so we will be there, of course. But what we need to really make this thing work is we need an ecosystem around us. We need lending protocol, yield protocol to make all of that work. So we can't be alone on a new chain. So we need an ecosystem around us to make all of that work. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And on top of it, like, it has to be something that you guys believe in for the next year or more. Like, if people can open bonds for a year and you're questioning the solidity or the long-term growth factors of that protocol, then yeah, it's not a short-term game. Like, you know what I mean? Even if people are opening short-term positions, you give them the option to do a year. So you need to believe that, Aave is going to be around in a year, right? So, which I think it will, but you get my point, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a different layer of risk. What we have a pretty conservative risks, like security and risk strategy. I mean, we don't use like exotic protocol under the hood. Like Aave and Compound are pretty safe, pretty well audited, so we are pretty confident with all of that. And of course, as also we invest basically all our money into security audits and security bounties on Immunify, this kind of thing. So like the current release, we got an audit from TradeOpBit, SpecShield, Code4, and different bounty also. We were 2 months on Rinkeby testnet with a bounty of 100K on Immunify. So it helped us a lot in terms of how to improve everything code-based. So yeah, we are pretty confident that we have a strong foundation there. But of course, there is still a risk, and we will continue working with our partners to secure all of that. But yeah, there is, as DeFi, it's different layers. So I don't think we will be able to remove all these risk layers.
All right. It's about 11. It's about an hour now. I'm not sure if you've got somewhere to go, but it's a pleasure talking to you. I don't think anybody has any more questions. I think we covered it pretty well. Yeah. So I guess yeah, that's it. I guess just thanks for coming. And like I said, I have this recorded, so I will be putting it on to my YouTube channel. Like, it'll be unlisted, but I will tweet it out because I don't put my AMAs all listed. But I will tweet it out. I will share it around. I'll give it to you, and you can share it around as well if you feel the need to or the desire to share it as well. Okay. Thanks so much for coming. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. Last chance to have any questions if anybody has any. I guess maybe not. A few people said they're good. They DM me and say, no, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, don't hesitate to DM me. Or also, we have a community call in 2.5 hours on our Discord server. So if you think more about what we are discussing here, don't hesitate to jump directly into our community call and ask your question there.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks so much, Mifly. And it's a pleasure talking to you again. It's always a pleasure. And thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Okay. Farewell.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.